to make air travel quieter, cleaner, and more efficient, while increasing the safety and comfort of passengers.
With this mandate to significantly lower noise and emissions and increase performance for subsonic aircraft, there will be a need to address virtually every aspect of the current aircraft configuration.
We're using a blended alternative fuel to evaluate the impact of different fuels on the emissions of the aircraft.
People have done life cycle studies to look at the carbon balance, which takes into account the amount of energy that you use in growing the plant, processing the oil. Some of the studies have shown about a 75% reduction in the amount of CO2 that you get using camelina compared to a conventional petroleum-based fuel.
NASA started investigating alternative fuels as a way of reducing the carbon emissions from aircraft, but there's other benefits of these fuels. They produce much lower levels of soot, and also they do not have sulfur contaminants.
Hopefully there will be a fairly significant return on the investment in terms of improved public health and environment.
Everything within subsonic aviation now is looking for efficiency. We're looking at structures to make aircraft lighter. We're looking at various propulsion systems in order to make them more fuel efficient, and we're looking at configurations to lower the noise impact of community noise, essentially looking at an environmentally responsible aircraft.
We really think this airplane is revolutionary. It's a big jump in technology from the tube and wing kind of airplanes that you see today. It's much more efficient. I like to say it's like a hybrid car compared to a regular car.
It's exciting to think that we're contributing to the green aircraft of the future.
The aircraft now can be programmed to have, for example, engines that are more fuel efficient. Control the engines separately and also more closely and carefully.
This is NASA's first all-electric crewed aircraft.
We can use electric propulsion systems and aircraft design in an interactive way. The wing itself is designed so that the electric motors enable extra efficiency in the wing itself.
There's several different types of airplanes that can benefit from electric propulsion. The one that's gaining a lot of interest right now is the smaller version, the air taxi type vehicle.
In doing the work of developing these systems, integrating these systems and so forth, we have helped industry along their path.
We've been able to deliver lessons learned on batteries, on how you do the power electronics, how you build up the motors. And so X-57 really has been a pathfinder early on for electric propulsion.
Next generation of vehicles, they're going to be much greener and much more efficient types of propulsive technology.
Flashing across California desert skies, the airplanes you see here are writing new chapters in the story of man-made flight. There she goes.
This is my first opportunity to greet you as Deputy Administrator of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Together, you and I must make our new agency
the most unusual place.
An organization that can challenge conventional wisdom.
We can engineer anything. We can write the requirements for it.
We're going to make your idea work. This particular idea is quite disruptive.
A typical flight, of course, starts under the wing of the B-52 mothership.
This sleek, high-speed machine would have made Rube Goldberg proud.
The manner in which we fly re-entry from space on the space shuttle was pioneered on the X-15.
The X-31 pretty much wrote the book on thrust vectoring, along with its sister program, the F-18 HAR.
An observation of an occultation is one of the more challenging missions that Sophia can do.
Right now, we are looking at the dawn of a new era of aviation.
Something has now emerged that might make even our most elegant theories workable.
Scientists developed equipment which would be able to think.
Machines that do things and make choices without human beings. That uncanny spectacle is automation.
Capable of storing, processing.
Calculations that would ordinarily take
hundreds of man-hours, unique ability to check itself on possible errors.
Cheaper and quicker and better.
Electric eyes, limit switches, servo mechanisms.
Secretary, librarian, banker, teacher, medical technician, bridge partner.
Volumes of changing data into a continuous flow of interpretations. Aladdin's lamp couldn't do more.
Jaws, loading machines, electric drills, it's all automation.
Computers have taken wing.
By the late 1960s, digital computers had become more available.
Using data about the aircraft's performance, the computers vote on the correct amount of control deflection to make in response to the pilot's stick and rudder movements.
This system could make air travel of the future smoother and safer by reducing aircraft vibration through automatic response from the computer to the aircraft controls.
We did the digital engine control. We had an early large digital computer that ran the engine and the inlet and exhaust system.
We did an integrated control study to provide digital control of the inlets, autopilot, throttle, air data, and navigation system. A digital computer here, major improvement in the capability of the airplane.
Test pilots are flying a plane without having to leave the ground. It's a new way of flight testing advanced aircraft that's both more economical and less hazardous. A research pilot in a realistically recreated cockpit on the ground, complete with flight controls, flies the remotely piloted craft using computers and television.
The airplane includes computers. Those computers take stick commands and
continuously monitor what the airplane is doing and compares it to what the pilot wants the airplane to do.
The computer signals the control surfaces to not only execute the pilot's maneuver, but also to counter any attempt by the X-29 to veer out of control.
Fly up.
Yikes! No doubt about it. We didn't get a roll for that one.
New initiative in the artificial intelligence area, and it's called aircraft automation. The technologies that end up coming out of this would be autonomous flight vehicle technology.
ERAS stands for Environmental Research Aircraft and Sensor Technology. Platforms that could fly higher and longer than the current piloted airplanes, do science missions and other commercial applications.
Primarily the dull, dirty, and dangerous.
We can go all the way up to where the airplane can fly itself completely autonomously with no input from anyone on the ground.
Fly up to 50, 60,000 feet, fly a circle loop perhaps over a city, providing the capability that a satellite now does.
Now that we can fly for on the order of 8 to 10 to 12 hours, we can look at long duration processes, biogeochemical cycling, looking at carbon and nitrogen moving through an ecosystem.
To sort of kickstart a commercial UAV industry.
The technology that we've seen here in this test is what would be the foundation for a follow-on program to really address the issue of how can UAVs routinely operate in the national airspace system.
The primary benefit of this technology is the ability of it to adapt to the unknown, whether it be a system failure, battle damage, icing on the wing, or flying in an unknown atmospheric environment.
The aircraft may be able to be flown, but the pilot may or may not be able to find a solution to how to fly that aircraft.
Neural net control systems where the controls are going to teach themselves and keep getting smarter from flight to flight.
It can reconfigure the airplane in an optimal way in order to give you the best flying qualities.
Okay.
There is no operator of the vehicle itself on the ground. Basically, the role that the human plays is more in managing the mission, an orchestra director, not the instrument player.
The vehicle will complete all the autonomous actions necessary to release the weapon optimally positioned to hit the target.
One of the next things that we'll be demonstrating in UCAV is the collaboration amongst aircraft. How do sets of aircraft interact together in almost a social form?
We're going to examine the feasibility and technical utility of actually being able to fly two airplanes or multiple aircraft in formation with each other.
Now the trick to this is to make sure that they fly in formation closely enough that they can extract the advantage without obviously running into each other.
The station keeping would be
fairly close proximity for hours, the workload on the flight crew would be quite high. So we started to develop autonomous algorithms to do the station keeping. So you basically would have an autopilot that you could engage.
The computers are flying the airplane without your stick input, even in the system, to allow a piloted airplane to take 2, 3, or 4 unpiloted vehicles on a long distance trip.
We're just getting started on this technology. We'll use this technology to refuel unoccupied combat air vehicles.
The basket's slightly moving. Looks like it's going high. Okay, it detected a miss and came back on its own. So I did not do anything. She's got it. She's got it. Congratulations, guys. That was fantastic.
The Autonomous Soaring Project has one simple goal, is to program a small UAV to soar in thermals similar to the way a glider pilot or birds do. It has been reprogrammed to automatically detect that it's in an updraft and then use that updraft by circling. There's a wide variety of applications for this technology to help UAVs do things like forest fire detection, police surveillance, border patrol, and weather monitoring.
If the aircraft was damaged, you don't have to necessarily just rely on the pilot to compensate and fly the airplane. Adaptive flight controls, autonomous flight controls, different things where we're using the airplane to assist the pilot.
It will take over basically the controls of the airplane as far as flight stability.
The Platform Precision Autopilot is capable of staying on a given path within about 15 feet. It allows the synthetic aperture radar system to fly over essentially the same path more than once. This obviously has some potential applicability when you're looking at Earth's surface movements, such as after an earthquake, or if you're looking at an ice pack melting.
For the F-16, we went out and tested the system and based them on actual mishap cases. It prevented every single mishap. What we're developing here is merely an aid should the pilot get distracted or disoriented. By automating it, we can take out the pilot reaction time entirely.
The computer takes full control away from the pilot for a very brief period of time, and it redirects the trajectory of the aircraft to save the human.
ADS-B is automatic dependent surveillance broadcast. It's equipment on board an airplane that transmits its position and velocity information twice per second.
We are really trying to prove that we could use ADS-B as a way to do coordinated flight between multiple vehicles.
This system is present on a lot of manned aircraft, but we were one of the first UAS to perform testing of it in the national airspace. NASA has a project for integrating UAS.
So one day, UAS could hopefully fly with other commercial airlines and everybody will fly together safely.
There's various benefits to integrating unmanned aircraft, being able to monitor specific weather systems, monitor fires, delivering packages to your doorstep.
For operations to deliver medical emergency supplies, infrastructure, surveillance, and monitoring.
The technical side is a big challenge, but being able to integrate them safely is maybe even a bigger challenge.
To have thousands of these vehicles flying at the same time, you're going to have a lot more automation on the vehicle and in the airspace system.
Regulations for operations of the vehicle, regulations for airspace, regulations for infrastructure.
These aircraft are going to be highly autonomous, piloted, optionally piloted, unpiloted vehicle.
It's not just looking at the UAM, it's actually integrating the small UAS, the package delivery, or even the larger cargo delivery.
Subscale aircraft, we use those for a variety of reasons, to test things like new technology, which could be hardware or software, or even a completely new vehicle. You can do almost anything you want without much risk. And you can realize those gains very quickly. We're researching some level of autonomy. The aircraft, in most cases, are capable of taking off, flying around and landing without any human intervention. Things like ardupilots and multi-rotors and flying computers are allowing kids to play with research type tools that they never had access to before. So it's sort of driving in this new robotic learning type environment that never did exist.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Christopher Williams. I'm the STEM Education Specialist here at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Thank you for joining us for today's program. I love the energy, thank you. Thank you for joining us for today's joint program with NASA called A Space for Us All. So over the next hour, you'll have an opportunity to hear from experienced NASA leadership. You'll also hear from proven and tested NASA astronauts. And then, by the end of this program, you're going to have an opportunity to learn about their past experiences. You'll find out what they're working on right now. And then we're going to pick their brains about what they think the future of spaceflight can be. Now, this is a special program, not just because of who we have on stage, but it's also special because of all of you here with us today. So thank you for being here with us. Now, to everyone who can hear my voice in the theater and everyone who's watching at home, I want you to sit back, I want you to relax and enjoy yourselves. And by the end of this program, everyone in here will have a much better understanding of what NASA is doing to make sure that the universe that's above us and all around us remains a space for us all. Now, before we get to hear from Victor and Leland, we have a very special message from the NASA Administrator, Bill Nelson.
Each February, NASA joins our nation in celebrating Black History Month to honor the generations of history, culture, and achievements of Black Americans. And this year, NASA is shining a light on building a legacy of achievement, connection, and knowledge. When you look around, Black history is everywhere. Whether you realize it or not, for decades, Black Americans at NASA have made countless contributions in air and space and science that have helped us explore the unknown. And we see it in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We see it in the astronauts and the leaders that you'll hear from today. So thank you to NASA's African American Employee Resource Group for hosting events and activities to honor this month. And thank you to NASA's Office of STEM Engagement for leading the charge to inspire young people through STEM. I'd also like to thank the National Museum of African American History and Culture, the Center of Science and Industry, and everybody who's made this event possible. Inclusion is one of NASA's core values. To be successful in our goal to benefit humanity, we will need to continue to embrace the ideas and talents of all Americans. We'll continue to share all of these stories. So thank you for sharing Black history and the contributions of Black Americans with our young leaders. Black history is American history, and it's up to you to carry the torch for generations to come. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this great event.
All right, folks, it's time to meet the astronauts. So, first, he was drafted in the 1986 NFL Draft, and he is a former NASA astronaut. Introducing Leland Melvin. Oh, all right. How you doing? Up next, he is a former naval aviator, and he is part of the Artemis team that will be going to the moon and beyond. Introducing Victor Glover.
Give some dap, you know?
All right, folks. So this is a lot of fun for me. I'm glad that we finally have an opportunity to meet face-to-face and chat. So I just want to start by saying, you know we're all here to see you, Director Weiss, Director Turner, but do you know who's in the audience right here?
No.
Let me tell you a little bit.
Can I hear you guys first? Let me hear what you got out there. Give me some love. All right.
All right, so we have several schools from Washington, D.C. and Maryland in the house today. The first, Cesar Chavez Middle School from Washington, D.C. We have Jefferson Middle School Academy from Washington, D.C. We have McKinley Technology High School from Washington, D.C. We have Chesapeake Math IT North Middle School and High School here today. And then lastly, we have New Hope Academy Middle School from Maryland here as well.
I think Chesapeake got them.
So before we get started, I have one quick thing to say. When I was upstairs, and I believe it was somebody from Cesar Chavez Middle School who walked in, and he looked at the NASA poster, and he said, "He looks like me." And in that moment, I just want to let you know, the tears came down my eyes, and that was a beautiful moment. So thank you, whoever that was. And if you were here and you know you said it, please stand up.
Stand up, stand up. Hey, young man, what you see, you can be. You've seen it, you can be it.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, let's get started with our first question. So I'm going to let the audience know just a little bit more about you before you get to answering. So, Leland, you were selected to NASA to be an astronaut in 1998. You also participated as the Office of Education for NASA for several years, and you were, as I already said, drafted in the 1986 NFL Draft. Now, the question is, what motivated you to become an astronaut?
Wow. Chris, thanks for bringing us here, brother. What motivated me was a friend of mine. He handed me an application and said, "You'd be a great astronaut." Didn't fill it out. But that same year, another friend of mine filled out the application and got in. And I said, if NASA lets knuckleheads get that in to be astronauts, I can be one too. So it was really kind of this guy. But then John Young flew back to NASA Langley and was actually where I was working. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna listen to your work, the research you're doing, and you should apply to be an astronaut." Now, John Young walked on the moon. So if a man who walked on the moon says you should apply to be an astronaut, I think you should apply to be an astronaut, right?
All right, great. Thank you for that. Now, Victor, you were selected to be an astronaut in 2013, and you just completed a 6-month mission aboard the International Space Station, and you served as a test pilot for the Navy. What motivated you to become an astronaut?
Thanks, Chris. Thank you for the introduction. Welcome to all the students and the teachers. And let's see, seeing a shuttle launch on television when I was 10 years old was the first time that seed was planted. But I would say that it bloomed, it blossomed into a full-grown plant when I was already in the military flying, and I was going to test pilot school. And I went to a conference, and one of the speakers, actually the keynote speaker, was Pam Melroy. Pam Melroy is the second female to command a space shuttle. And she was talking about her crew and the mission and the amazing things they did. They made a really critical repair to the space station solar arrays. And the technical story was amazing, but it was the way she talked about her crewmates. I played football in college. I wrestled in college. And they had this connection, this camaraderie, that's really what I had been chasing in my professional career. And I decided I'm gonna throw in an application and let NASA tell me no.
Oh, I love it. Perfect. All right, so both of you are astronauts now, or former astronauts, but you weren't always an astronaut. What were you like as a child? Tell us about your experiences growing up, please.
Well, I have to start with, I was born out of wedlock. My mother and father both loved me, and I didn't live with both of them, but they both prioritized my education. They wanted to make sure I had a shot at getting a really good education. And their love and support is not only what got me here today, but it's one of the things that I'm trying to reflect back into the community. But I grew up in Pomona and didn't know any engineers. My mother and father didn't graduate from college. But I had a lot of folks who invested in me saying, hey, you need to go to college. You like math, you should consider engineering. And it was listening to those folks that really gave me an opportunity to do some of these things. But at 16, I really had a dream that was to go to USC, like my other hero at the time, Marcus Allen, of the Los Angeles Raiders back then. And I wanted to play football like Marcus Allen did, you know, and I knew, hey, I could play college football, but I had more confidence in my athletic ability than I did my academic ability. And I would love to talk some more about that journey as well. But, you know, that just sets the context. I feel like I was a pretty regular high school student, but I loved math. And like you, listening to John Young, I listened to those people who loved me and invested in my future. And that is why I am standing here, or sitting here on this stage.
Yeah, for me, I was, yeah, that's great. Give him a love. How many of you have read the book, Curious George? How many of you have read the book, The Little Engine That Could? My mother read those books to me every single night before I could even read. And if she was missing a sentence, I would complete the sentence. I knew those books inside out. One thing that Curious George had, no matter what he did, no matter what trouble he got in, he always had the man in the yellow hat who had his back. Make sure that you have a man in the yellow hat or woman in the yellow hat who's got your back. I always had that. Secondly, I think I can. I was a little kid, you know, was getting beat up sometimes, different things, but I always thought I could because of what that engine did coming over the mountain. My mother gave me an age-inappropriate, non-OSHA certified chemistry set when I was a kid. And I mixed these chemicals together and created the most incredible explosion in her living room. I blew a hole in her carpet. Now, we didn't have a lot of money. I burned a hole in a black woman's carpet. I got launched into space. Force equals mass times acceleration. My mom was 5'2". She hit my butt so hard, I went, whoa! Mass and acceleration and force. I learned physics. I learned chemistry. I wanted to be a scientist.
Love it.
Boom.
Well, that is actually a perfect segue to the next question. So other than icing your backside and fixing the hole in the carpet, what other struggles did you go through when you were growing up? Yeah.
We're keeping it on the real, right? This is on the real.
Always.
I had some struggles with some things that happened to me from other people that did things to me that were not cool, and I had to figure out how to overcome them. So, you know, there were some struggles there. There was some discrimination in my city of Lynchburg, Virginia. I was a janitor I think I was like 8th grade, and I was trying to make some money. So I was a janitor in this bank, and this guy came up to me in the bathroom, and I looked at him and said, "How you doing, sir?" He looked at me, I think he was the president of the bank, but he looked through me like I wasn't even there, like I was a ghost or something. And I said to myself, I never want to have someone feel like I felt. And I said, I will continue to rise. I won't let a person like that influence me, keep me from rising, because I always thought about Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was not a slave, she was enslaved. But in her mind, she was free, and she freed herself, got to freedom, and the person that was there said, oh, you can't go back and get your family. She said, watch me. Watch me do it. So that's the mindset you have to have, and that's what I had to adopt at an early age in Lynchburg to get through these things of oppression, discrimination, racism, all those things. So make sure that you have this mentality of doing what your journey and the things that you want to do with your life.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. It's an 8th grader from Toronto, Canada. Can you describe your mindset towards academics along your journey? What subjects challenged you, and what were your favorite subjects?
So I think I mentioned it briefly in my first answer. I've always loved mathematics. Mathematics has always spoken to me. And, you know, actually related to your last question, a struggle that I had in my youth, though, was not knowing that I had the stuff it took to succeed in college. And so I'll tell you a little story about math, but also about that struggle, and I think it answers both questions. So I'm 16, and I told you I'm focused on sports. I know that's a key